Hello, and welcome to the How-To Series webinar, VersaPass Printhead Returns. My name is Steve, and I'm a Technical Account Manager specializing in VersaPass technology at Memjet. The objective of this webinar is to guide you on the steps involved when returning a printhead to best ensure successful failure analysis. Topics include when to return a printhead, actions to perform prior to removing the printhead from the printer, cleaning the printhead, preparing the printhead for shipment, shipping the printhead. Let's get started. First off, let's talk about when a printhead should be returned. A printhead return should always be at the request of your printer technical support representative for failure analysis after performing all the troubleshooting steps. You may suspect that the printhead has an issue which caused it to fail early in life. However, the printhead is part of a larger printing system, and the root cause of a print quality issue or premature printhead life failure may lie outside of the printhead. Let me use an analogy to illustrate my point. Let's suppose one of your vehicle's tires is wearing out at a higher rate than you expected. You replace it. For a while, your driving experience is great, back to normal. You think, maybe it was a bad tire. But before too long, the replacement tire starts wearing out again, sooner than you were expecting. It may be that the wheels needed to be balanced, or the vehicle requires a wheel alignment. Maybe you need to check the tire pressure and inflate them to the proper level more often. Perhaps your driving conditions put excessive strain on the tires. Or it could be a combination of factors. Once the underlying cause or causes of the accelerated tire wear is identified and resolved, tire life returns to what you expected. In a similar notion, installing a new printhead may alleviate a print quality or printhead life issue for a little while, but if it's not the root cause, the failure systems will reappear again with the new printhead. Maybe your printhead needs to be serviced more often. Maybe the microfiber roller isn't being changed out with every new printhead install. Maybe keep wet spitting level needs to be adjusted. Or it could be a number of other reasons, and not the printhead itself. Your technical support representative is well trained in diagnosing print quality and printhead life issues. Working with them will best ensure that the root cause of the problem is addressed. Here's a bird's eye view of the printhead return process. It starts by performing all the actions to troubleshoot the issue as described in your printer's documentation. Be sure to note the steps performed and the results. If the issue is print quality related, capturing print samples before and after each troubleshooting step can help further determine the underlying issue. If you still have issues after exhausting the troubleshooting steps, collect information before contacting the printer support team. Collect the printhead serial number and usage information, like the amount of ink fired and the number of pages printed. The method for doing this varies by printer model and may include printing a printhead information page. Collect other information as it pertains to the issue seen. We'll elaborate more on this later, but gathering all the clues that can help solve the problem is important. Especially important if the issue is print quality related is gathering the printed output that best illustrates the undesirable print artifacts. Additionally, specific printhead diagnostic plots can help your support representative get a better handle at a detailed printhead nozzle level. Once you've collected the information, contact your printer support team. If applicable, open a support case and update the case with the information you've collected, including scans and photos of the output. If possible, do this while the printhead is still installed in the printer. This may allow an expert to further assist in the issue troubleshooting process. Like the analogy with premature tire wear, the underlying issue may not be with the printhead itself, but some other aspect of the system that causes the printhead to perform suboptimally. The support representative will guide you through additional troubleshooting steps. I realize this isn't always practical, especially if a print job is under a tight deadline, but it is highly recommended. After performing the troubleshooting steps, if your support representative determines that a printhead needs to be returned, Only then will you continue with the rest of the steps covered under this webinar. It is highly recommended that the next steps to remove and clean the printhead and to prepare it for shipping are done at the same time as the printhead removal to avoid damaging the printhead and to best maintain its condition for analysis. Special items are required, so you'll want to be sure you have those ready. Often, your support organization will require you to obtain an authorization or an RMA to ship the printhead to them. If so, be sure to wait for this authorization before shipping the printhead. Once all the steps have been completed, you'll be ready to ship the printhead. Do not delay. Ship the printhead out as soon as possible for best results. Even when properly cleaned and prepped, the accuracy of the failure analysis will be jeopardized with each passing day. So, let's take a look at the information you'll be collecting. Some information is required for every case: the printhead serial number and a description of the failure or print quality defects seen. Some basic usage information, like the printhead installation date and the amount of ink printed, is also necessary. Describe the troubleshooting steps taken to resolve the issue and their results. Did the issue show up immediately after making some change, like installing a new printhead or microfiber roller? This information can provide an obvious starting point for diagnosing the issue. It could be more subtle, like it was running fine before this nasty paper crash. Depending on the nature of the issue, your product support documentation and your support representative may request certain information be added to your case. Printhead information is available through an internal printhead information page. The method to print this page varies by printer model. A one-page data collection form is also available from Memjet or your printer support team. For print quality issues, pictures or scans of printed output can also speak volumes. Sample prints and diagnostic plots should be photographed or scanned and attached to the support case. If it's determined that the printhead should be returned, include the printed output along with the printhead. Like the tire wear analogy, there may be a system issue, and the printhead may not be the underlying root cause. Obtaining information and photos of associated components, like the microfiber roller, printhead cap, ink tubes, and revolver seals, can prove very useful in getting to the root cause. Temperature and humidity can also be important factors contributing to suboptimal print quality. For error messages, the error message displayed is obviously important. Additionally, serial debug logs is like the flight recorder that captures critical internal events leading up to the error. Obtaining those can shed light on the underlying issue. Any strange behavior regarding the paper path may also provide clues into the root cause of the issue. This may all seem a bit overwhelming, but with any detective work, the more information the investigator has to work with, typically the quicker and more accurate the failure analysis will be. After collecting printhead information and printed output, you'll want to contact your printer support team. Of course, the specific details on how to do this depends on your support organization. In some cases, you'll create a support case using their system. Regardless, some fundamental items will be required. First is the printhead serial number. We'll show you where to find this. Specify the usage information. Describe the issue in detail. Rather than, "It looks bad," describe what makes it look bad. Are you seeing streaks? Are they in all colors or certain colors? Referring to diagnostic plots, are the streaks in all printhead channels or just one? Be as detailed as you can. "It looks bad" becomes, "We saw some streaks on every page, approximately 40 millimeters from the outlet side of the printhead. After printing a diagnostic page, we could see that it was the magenta channel. We tried light and deep printhead recovery, To no avail. We replaced the microfiber roller and attempted the recovery steps again. The problem wasn't as severe, but it still remained. This type of issue description is much more helpful to the support agent. Especially if the issue is print quality related, a picture says 1,000 words. Attaching clear scans and photos that highlight the printed artifact is essential. Include representative output of the job and diagnostic plots that can help pinpoint the underlying issue. Add any other information you have gathered. Before getting into the physical printhead handling aspects of this webinar, let's take a quick look at some basic features of the printhead, referenced later on. The handle is the ribbed blade on top of the printhead. It is recommended that you grip the printhead only by the handle anytime you need to hold the printhead. The printhead serial number is located in the top center. As mentioned, it is a required piece of information when submitting a support case. The printhead serial number has the format B00XXXX. Here you see a photo example. The printhead contact pads are the metallic squares on the lower edge of the printhead underneath the serial number and running the length of the printhead. These print pads interface with a memjet electronic circuit board that is used to drive the printhead. It is essential that they remain clean to ensure a solid connection is made with the electronic circuit board. On the bottom of the printhead is the printhead nozzle array. This is where the drops are fired. There are over 70,000 microscopic nozzles used to fire ink onto the media. For optimal printing performance, it is critical that they are kept clean. Again, it's best to hold the printhead by the handle. Be careful not to touch the printhead contacts or nozzle array, as this can damage them or lead to other issues. We've reached the point where your printhead support representative has requested that the printhead be returned. When removing the printhead from the printer, we strongly recommend immediately moving into the printhead cleaning and shipping preparation steps to minimize the potential for damage and decay. So, before removing the printhead, be sure to assemble the required items ahead of time. You don't want to be holding on to the printhead while rummaging around for the necessary supplies. And you certainly don't want to set a printhead down unprotected, as it may damage it. So, before you remove the printhead, here are the required items to gather: distilled or deionized water, printhead cover, several clean, unused, lint-free microfiber cloths, protective gloves, a large resealable plastic bag large enough for the printhead and cover, the printhead cardboard carton, and a marker. It's important not to use tissue paper or paper towels, nor should you use any cleaning fluids or other chemicals. Doing so can damage the printhead. Now that the required items are assembled, it's time to remove and clean the printhead. Cleaning the printhead. Before you begin, be sure to have the required items assembled and put on protective gloves. First, fold and moisten 3 clean, unused, lint-free microfiber cloths with DI water. Gently clean the orange protective printhead cover, especially where there is ink or other fluid. And discard the cloth. Next, follow your printer's documentation to remove the printhead from the printer. Be sure not to set the printhead down before proceeding to the next step. Holding the printhead by the handle, apply a flat face of clean moistened cloth to one end of the printhead nozzle array. Using light, steady pressure, slowly wipe the nozzle array until you reach the opposite end. Discard the cloth. In similar fashion, slowly wipe the printhead contact pads, but discard the cloth. Immediately insert the printhead into the protective cover and close the 3 tabs. It is now safe to gently set the printhead down. Sealing and boxing the printhead. The printhead should now be cleaned and in its protective cover. Begin by writing the printhead serial number onto the printhead carton. This makes it easy for you and your support team to identify the printhead without having to remove it from the carton. Fold and moisten 1 clean, unused, lint-free microfiber cloth with DI water. Insert the moistened cloth into the large, clean, resealable bag. Insert the covered printhead into the bag. When sealing the bag, squeeze out as much air as possible. When inserting the printhead into the carton, orient it such that the printhead nozzles remain face down when the carton label is upright. Just with any new printhead storage, maintain the printhead to keep the printhead nozzles facing down. Keep it in a cool environment away from direct sunlight. We are now at the final step of our webinar, shipping the printhead. Place the printhead carton, or cartons if more than one, into an outer shipping box. Never ship the printhead without packing it into a larger box. Damage is likely to occur. The box should have plenty of non-conductive packing material, enough so that the printhead does not shift around inside the box during transport. Make sure the printhead carton is oriented such that the printhead nozzles remain face down when the outer box is upright. Place the sample prints, printhead information page, and diagnostic plots inside a large sealable bag and label the bag with the printhead serial number. Place the bag inside the box. Seal the box and label it to best ensure that the box remains properly oriented during shipment. Again, you'll want to ship the printhead out as soon as possible once it's been prepped to best ensure the accuracy and failure analysis results. Of course, if your printer support team requires an authorization, be sure to wait for that first. Finally, inform the support team with the shipper's tracking number so they can be alerted as soon as it arrives at its destination. You now know the importance of collecting essential information when working with your printer support team on a print quality or printhead related issue. You know how to clean and prepare a printhead for shipment and how to ship it to your support team. Thank you for your time and attention. Stay tuned for more webinar topics to come. We greatly appreciate your feedback in a quick survey at the URL shown. It allows you to provide input on future additional topics that would be of interest to you. On behalf of MemJet, I wish you all the best.